Heyo, heyo, welcome to the Downcast. Damon here as always. Kind of glad to be here with what's going on. Captain Dick Bag Zach here with us as always. How you doing, Zach?
Yeah, doing well.
Good. And then the guest of the year. He's not quite Black Bill, but we got Old White Bill.
That's as close as you're gonna get, baby. Give a shout out to Zach, whose team in 2 quarters has scored like 117 points. I was projected to beat him last week at halftime of the Monday night game and wound up losing by like 40. He took high. It was if you were watching it, it was stupefying. So congratulations.
Yeah, Zach beat you by just under 40 points.
And I was ahead at halftime of the Monday night game.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. It was really unexpected. I thought for sure. I mean, come halftime, I was like, "Fuck, Bill's got this." Yeah. Hopefully Brady gets another few points. Maybe Tariq Hill gets another point or two, but it's out of reach. And then every single possibility that could have happened. It was phenomenal.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I want everyone to listen to this. Sitting in the sports bar watching it with my son was much more harrowing than watching 9/11.
You're speaking of Billy, not Devin, right?
I'm speaking of my natural son. Besides, you and Tristan,
yes,
I've always considered as my 3 sons.
Well, good, thank you. Eat it, Devin. Anyway, I did want to talk about a couple things, mainly from today's adventures. It's a wonderful day for the group chat. I was very proud of everybody to get on there and be extra violent and just talk a lot of shit. I do want to talk about your trade. After talking to you and Billy, it's very legitimately agreed upon trade. So there's truly, like I said, I had to do my checking because I would have thought it was pretty one-sided personally, but Bill,
when I got here, Brad showed up, and I made a quote to Brad that I think is very significant, and that is that the words collusion and Tevin Coleman would never, in any universe, be used in the same sentence. Tevin Coleman is a second-string backup running back. When he's the primary back and the feature back, and he's going to go off, he gets 11 points. Fuck him. I got Taylor Gabriel, who I think has a much higher upside, but my team's terrible, and I don't know how to play fantasy football, so everything I say is invalid.
Well, I will second that the Coleman being collusion is a Kavanaugh story.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, to be clear, Bill, he feels he won the trade, so that's why, I just got to check into it. It's been pushed through. Everybody's got their players.
Hey, if I win all these trades, I lose every game. So at least I'm trying.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I thought I had something else planned to talk about at first, but then all of this.
Oh, we're going to do studs and duds, starting with Bill.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. That's great. We'll do that after last week. So I can't remember what I was going to talk about. I remember what I was going to talk about. Kind of just pre-draft process, because I remember last year I was able to talk about a lot of fantasy football stuff at the beginning of each Downcast for the most part, or related topics, and I like that. So I was just going to bring up real quick drafting and bye weeks. I don't know how many people take into a lot of consideration their bye weeks when drafting. What do you guys take into consideration bye weeks when you're drafting? Either of you?
Never. That is the last thing I even pay attention to.
I've never looked at that.
Okay, because I was going to say, I know people have, but a couple things with that. If all your players have the same bye week, it's honestly almost better because you're not going to win every game, and so if you can tank one game to be at full strength the rest of the season, that's actually a pretty good thing. But the other thing is
well, I can say if there's anyone that's an expert on knowing how to take a loss, it's Damon. So
it is.
Take his advice.
Yeah, enjoy it, because one day, not any day soon, but one day, I will destroy you. But the other thing is now I'm probably an extreme case because my team sucks and I've had to do as much work as possible on them. But the players you draft are not often the player, weeks into the season, they're not the players you have. And so if you are concerned with bye weeks, really you shouldn't be. That is a bad approach. I would have thought Zach was, but you're not. And like, for instance, myself, I don't know, nobody probably follows my team as much as I do, which is kind of weird to me. But I have none of my first 5-round picks on my team anymore, either through dropping them or trading them. And I have, of 17 players on my roster, 4 of them were drafted. Technically, 3 of them were drafted, as one of them was my shitty keeper. Anyway, so I just thought that was interesting how quick rosters turn over is pretty intense.
Yeah, going into this week, I have 3 guys that I drafted. The great LaShawn McCoy, the awesome Tyreek Cohen and Stephon Diggs. Everybody else is a trade or a waiver.
Yeah,
that's just how it goes.
It's just pretty crazy. Not all of us backdoor fucking retard strength draft a lights out team that dominates like that. But I don't know how you do it. I don't think you do either. That's the problem. So anyway, any thoughts there? Crickets?
Well, just proposing that if you have Bill, you have Mahomes, right?
No, Skylar does.
Well, I'm playing Mahomes. But I'm throwing Trubisky at him, so he's fucked.
Unfortunately, as much as a player should never be untradeable, I'm pretty sure Skylar will say that you could not trade for Mahomes unless it was like
he would be a sweet little thing to step in there for a bye week,
Please.
Trubisky's already had his bye, so I have no use for Mahomes. I have Mitchell Trubisky.
I had Fitzpatrick at one point. And thought I was sitting on a fucking diamond.
You were for 2 games.
That's just what I'm thinking with Trubisky.
Well, Bill, at least all your 50 Bears on your team have passed their bye week. So at least you don't have to worry about that. So I'll give you that. All right, well, let's recap last week. Let's start with the game that we've already mentioned, and that's Zach's beatdown of Bill at the end. 157.5 to 117.8. They kind of touched on it. Bill had it in the bag, and then and then Zach dominated on his way to the top scorer of the week. So good job there.
Thank you. And I reclaimed my number 1 scoring in the league spot.
Shit, I didn't do standings at all yet. Oops. So I'm going to do those live while we're on here.
Okay. Well, I'll run with it.
Bill and Zach, you guys go over last week. Hey, did I get a
Yeah, Bill, I thought you had me. You had me going into 6 o'clock on Sunday. I had like 13 points to your 80 something, and I was like, I'm fucked. I thought it was over for sure.
So you guys recap the rest of the games. I do want to comment on my game for a second. But go through all the other games, and then we'll get to my epic battle as well.
I see a lot of it.
Yeah, okay, so the next game is Los Pimientos La Leche de Justica. The Peppers of Justice. Smashed Caitlyn Jenner's balls. 126.7 to 97. Saquon Barkley is a great pickup. Adams is the number one receiver in Green Bay right now. So those two, they both went off, and that's what led to his victory. He could have put Goodwin in, who almost scored 30 points, but he sat on the bench. So I think right now, Peppers of Justice is my number one. He's who I'm battling at the championship, in my opinion. But then we have
I'll take a game. I'll take a game. I want to take this one.
Okay.
Next game is Beaver Bashers versus Notorious Champ. Beaver Bashers won 131.3 to 114.7. Mahomes and Hunt went off, and that's what led him to his victory. It was a pretty close game, actually. Champ's starting to look a little better. Got to give it to him. Then we have the shit bowl.
No, wait for that. Do you hear us?
I can't hear you.
Do you hear us?
Now I hear you.
Do you hear Bill? Bill talk?
I want to discuss my son, my progeny game. And that is Sunday Morning Boner got boned 150 to 92. And I don't know what to say.
He got a Sunday Morning Boner.
Yeah, see, because Pimpos to Justica and Caitlyn Jenner's balls was much closer than poor Billy.
Yeah. Lee fucked him right in the ass.
58.1 points he lost by. Oh, anyway, sorry, Bill. I don't know what to say.
Good job, Lee.
Yeah,
Lee's team's a killer too. I think that Jones trade that you did with him is going to be
really smart.
Makes him a fucking contender for that championship too.
Well, if Julio Jones catches a touchdown pass, he's going to be really good because he puts up all those points, and that racist Matt Ryan, he's darker skinned than the other fellows, and so he only throws touchdowns to the lighter skinned colored.
Well, if they'd quitting so much crime.
Poor Julio.
How many games do we have left? Just the shit ball?
Yep, the last is the Hammer of Thor versus Sean, Senior Hobo Dick Cheese.
Well, that's called Gimme of the Week, and Thor wins it.
Dick Cheese gets the fucking dumbass move of the week with Jay Ajayi in his lineup, getting 0 points.
Don't forget Randall Cobb. I'm sure he was in there.
Yeah, Hammer of Thor got 134 points. That's a big number.
All right. So, and then in the last game, the aforementioned shit bowl, Bass and I, the two people that for some reason are both eternally punished for the championship game 2 years ago. It was a rousing game. I pulled it off 82.8 to 75.3. Going into Monday night, I was up like 82.8 to like 64, and it was Alfred Morris against Ty Montgomery. He damn near pulled it off and beat me because Alfred Morris did fucking nothing because he's a worthless piece of shit and not a bunch of douchebags. And if anybody hasn't seen it, Matthew Berry, well-known fantasy analyst, had a game and goes off on like a 2.5 minute rant freak out because he had Alfred Morris in a league and needed 1 point and lost the game. It was even in a league where you get a point for a first down, and I don't know if anybody saw, but Alfred Morris had 1 carry for a first down, and then they were penalized, and it was called back, and he never touched the game again. So fortunately, I didn't lose, but I feel his pain, and I'm so thankful that the trade I made with Skyler got that fucking piece of shit douchebag gar fuck off my team because I almost paid. What is happening? Zach is scoring more points. God. Anyway, enough of last week.
He's beat some totals from last week.
Yeah, Zach has officially passed Bass's score from last week with his 3 players. Oh, God. That's great. Anyway, so, yeah. Anyway, back to my 1-win, 2-loss streak. Let's not let that change. Anyway, so good job last week to all of you that did well and all of you that didn't. Well, go fuck yourself.
And that concludes last week. Now we bring up this week's studs and duds, where we ask our guest who they thought was a stud throughout their draft and who's turned out to be a dud. Bill?
Oh, well, if I would have kept Sammy Watkins, he would be a perennial dud. He is a constant, never-ending dud, and anyone who has him deserves him. But the rest of my guys are simply limited players who my bench guys all right. I got AP and Clemmer on my bench, projected 12-1, 11-3. Clay McCoy and Carr projected 13, 11-2. So they're all the same. They have 4 running backs, and I think a lot of teams are like that, where your depth and your starters are the same. Where Zach has a team where he doesn't have any decisions to make because he's got these great players and then horseshit players. So he doesn't have to agonize and look at matchups and all that stuff. When you got 15 mediocre players, you just have to hope you get lucky. So my only dud would be the guy I joyously got rid of, which is Sammy Watkins. The rest of the guys are playing hard. They're just not good.
You know, I will say on that thing, I think, I always have a team full of depth too. And I think that's the problem is it's a bunch of good depth players and to where they're interchangeable. So you're missing that you're missing that lights out stud. So the only way to get those stud games, you have to pick the right ones. And it's hard. It's more difficult when they're all even. It is easier to just have, 4 guys, 5 guys that are the guys you play as long as they're healthy and not on bye week, and then just with the rest. So
I look at the top games of this league and I go.
And I'll give you a little secret, a little peek behind the curtain, if you will. That's how I draft. I draft to fill each position with the best player I can, and then I worry about depth after.
Well, no, we're not listening. Royce Freeman is crap. Okay.
Royce Freeman is crap. I picked a shitty fucking running back there. I fucked up.
It's the fault too. They're stupid. But you got you got Todd Gurley. Okay, you made the right choice there. Good on you.
I really would have wanted Le'Veon Bell. I mean, he's been tearing it up this week.
Le'Veon's as good as anybody if he plays.
I drafted, my first pick was potentially, if you think about it, if you look at all of Julio Jones's points and then just throw in 1 touchdown a game, he would be the greatest things in the history of football. So how you can have that many points and you don't have a touchdown just speaks to his greatness, but also his expendability due to racism.
It's the South. What do you expect? It's Georgia.
Why would you? He's such a wonderful man. Why would you do him like that?
Yeah, so, yeah, I don't even know what we're talking about. I'm just
So,
on tilt.
aren't we supposed to talk about this week's matchup?
So let's do the standings real quick. Right now, I got the standings updated. Right now in the Bag of Clits division, Zach leads 7.5-1. Caitlyn Jenner's ball is 4.5-3. And Bass to Mouse, but really Zach should have voted Hillary, soon to probably be last place again, 1.5-5.
Cheese socks Magoo.
Yeah, gee, that works too. But in the Bag of Dicks division, we have the Freneticator, 7.5-1. Beaver Basher, 6-2. And Senior Hobo never set my lineup, dipshit cheese, 2.5-4. In the Jesus Christ division, we have the Hammer of Thor, 5-3. Sunday Morning Boner, 3-4. And Doing Your Dad, 2.5-4. And then in the Black Lives division, we have the Peppers of Justice, 7.5-1. Tebow Goes Yard, 3.5-4. And the Champ, 3.5-4. So we have three teams dominant and Skylar right up there. And then we have the one team that will win our division that will get in, and then who knows? And then there's a sixth place up for grabs for someone.
I wanted to comment on these standings because you've got a dominant team, not bad, in the Bag of Clits. Then in the Bag of Dicks, you got two superior teams and then a bottom feeder. And then in the Jesus H. Christ, you got a solid team, a mediocre team, and a
Billy's
mediocre team.
They were both crap.
And
well, you made them better now.
And then in my division, the Peppers of Justice is dominant, and then me and the Champ are, swimming around the 400 to 500 pool. So, yeah, this league is not as competitive this year.
It is. We have 4 dominant teams. I mean, yeah, we really have
it's not balanced. I'll give him that. It's not balanced very well.
I'd say we have definitely about 4 contenders.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, barring injury and things can change quickly. With Zach, if Gurley gets hurt, Zach should still have a solid team, but he's not going to be a dominant team. With Lee, Le'Veon Bell comes back and Connor goes bye-bye, and with Fournette's injuries, Lee's not going to be as dominant. Brad, if Saquon goes down, that's going to hurt him. Now, these guys still have other really good players, but, outside, and then with Skylar, he's got Melvin Gordon's backup on his team, so even if Melvin goes down, Eckler becomes more relevant. So, I find myself, just because I don't want to see a repeat champion until someday when I maybe am good again, which who knows when that will be. I probably at this point have to rooting for Skylar to be the champion. So that's just my own thoughts.
That ain't happening with only referring to my beloved friend Devin.
Oh, yeah.
He ain't winning this one.
No. The thing is, I think Todd Gurley's just become the new Antonio Brown. I think that's all it is. Zach started the Antonio Brown train. He won, Lee won, Bass won, all with Antonio Brown. And now Todd Gurley's become the new champion. And so, Devin won with him, and Zach is completely dominant as of now with him. So, yeah, anyway. Let's move on to the week 8 preview or week.
And preface, we are doing this on a Thursday night, so there is a game that has already taken place, so that our predictions are a little biased.
I know. So we'll just get this out of the way.
I want to take Zach.
Zach is going to probably be the top scorer, so I'll at least take a little bit of enjoyment, if you will, knowing that no one could have beat Zach, because I'm currently down 77.9 to 5.
Yeah, that's only 7.9 points.
So, the game's not over, but he still hasn't played Gurley. or Tyreek Hill or Tom Brady. So Zach's probably going to win the points.
I think Zach could pick this one game on Sunday and beat you.
Well, there was hope until, about 3 hours ago.
I've sadly been ass violated by Zach. Oh, no.
Well, I will say that I looked at the projections this morning and kind of shit my pants. In fact, if you look at the group chat, I posted that Connor video where Connor's getting his ass beat, and he says, "It's only business."
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my team's better, and I think I'll have a good week. But I mean, it's not going to matter. I scored 118 points. Congratulations when you hit 170. But whatever. Anyway, moving on, doesn't matter. Next game, let's talk about Hammer of Thor and Caitlyn Jenner's balls. Currently, right now, we have. Oh, what the fuck?
We have a commercial message.
Yeah, no, that was the wrong button. So currently, right now, we have. Where's the projections? I don't know what I'm looking at. Anyway,
it's 119 to 84.
You're doing Hammer of Thor.
Oh, yeah. So the Hammer of Thor is currently projected to beat the hell out of Caitlyn Jenner's balls. He does not have a quarterback in. I don't even know if he has one on his bench.
He doesn't. And if Chris was smart, he would take some of his bullshit on the bench and swap it out for good quarterbacks and pay a little money.
Yeah,
or
Aaron Rodgers is
just play a quarterback might really help.
Who's he going to get?
All together, I don't know, but he just needs to pick someone up. So
there's a Trubisky out there, kid. Don't lose hope.
So I'm going to take Chris, even though I really don't want Chris to win, and I pray to holy hell that Christopher wins that one. Who do you guys take?
I know Chris is going to win this week. It's just a matter of which one. I'm taking Hammer of Thor. He's gonna hammer those. He's gonna hammer Caitlyn Jenner's ball.
Oh well, he's got a racist at quarterback, but he's got Zeke and Kamara, Mike Evans, Woods, Jarvis. That's a pretty solid looking team. Every team looks better than mine. Caitlyn Jenner's balls, having to replace Aaron Rodgers is going to allow him to have no chance to win this game.
Yeah, that sucks. But I'm still rooting for him. Next game, let's do the powerhouse game of the week, probably the game of the week, and that is the Freneticator and the Peppers of Justice. Currently, the Peppers of Justice are projected to win 123.6 to 111.8. Brad had Philip Lindsay play, and he had 19.6 points. So that's a great start.
Wow.
I think Lee's team is good, but we're going to see the repercussions of what's to come once Le'Veon Bell dwarfs James Conner, and I think that Brad's going to take him down.
Lee's team is my team. He's got Julio Jones and Greg Olsen, who I didn't think was coming back, so I think that alone fucks him. Oh, that's a tough one.
So what do you think?
Okay,
I think Lee's going to do it. I mean, Lee's got James White, and Chicago's secondary is phenomenal. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be running and hitting the flats a lot, and that's going to speak well for James White.
All right,
I'll take the other guy.
All right, let's go to your game, Bill. We have Tebow Goes Yard versus the Beaver Basher. Currently, the Beaver Basher is projected to win 101.6 to 100.8.
See, this is my favorite game.
So pick 'em.
This is my favorite game because I'm looking at see, I don't know who the player.
Get closer to the mic.
Who
can't hear you?
Who is the Beaver Basher?
Skyler.
This game, well, he got Melvin Gordon. I think that gives him an edge because he's got two guys that can put up big numbers, where I have a bunch of 12-point guys. But his bench, he's like what I'm talking about. His bench is as good as his starters, but he's got a bunch on a bye week. So I think that's what gives me a chance, because he's playing Al Wilson, who sucks in spite of that 75-yard touchdown against the Bears. He's not going to get shit, and Tyler Boyd. But his good wide receivers are on a bye, and so that's the only chance really that I have. He's got two guys that are going to get a lot of points, but I maybe have a bunch of guys that will get more points than his. I don't know. I'm going to say I win by a half a point. I don't know.
Looking at it, Bill, you have your whole game's going to come down to two games, because you're going the unthinkable, unfathomable quad bears, doubling up double bears.
I guess it really overrated Patriots.
And you have New England, so you have 5 players from one game, and that's the New England Chicago game, and then you have 2 players in the Jet Minnesota game. So 2 games will determine your entire day. You must watch nothing but those 2 games.
Hey, Will Lutz could have 35
So, I don't care who wins. Go Bill. I'll root for quad bears.
I don't care who wins either.
I want Bill to win.
I want Bill to win. If Mahomes and Gordon don't have stellar games, I will win this game with consistency. But if they put up big numbers, I probably won't be able to match it. On paper, it's the game of the week, but it's irrelevant also.
So we're going to go to a couple of games featuring a whole bunch of douchebags. First one is Zach should have voted Hillary against Senior Hobo Dick Cheese.
Hey, can we name his name to Senior Hobo Cheese Socks?
Senior Hobo Dick Cheese Socks? That's pretty good. I kind of like that. I think that I'm going to do that just because he's not going to pay attention. But currently, Bass is projected to win 108.3 to 88.1, and David Johnson, the almighty wasted talent, has already played, and we still have a J in the IR. So Senior Hobo Dick Cheese Socks, I think, is going to get his ass kicked by Bass.
He has a lot of work to do.
Senior Hobo Dick Cheese Socks. That's the best thing ever. There's really nothing else to say. Bass should easily win that game, but his team also sucks ass, so he might be good. Let's just move on to what's your pick, Zach?
I'm picking Bass.
So let's move on to the last game, the epic battle of douchebags, the Boner and the Champ. Billy's projected to win 111.1 to 105.8. I can tell you right now, I'm rooting Devin all the way here, just because my only chance of slipping into the playoffs and losing by 45 points is to win my division. So I would like to do that. I would like to not even have a chance of last place. So go Devin.
Billy, if Tevin Coleman has a big game,
Tevin Coleman.
I'm going to catch some shit. But let's see. You got Odell Beckham, Zach Ertz. I'm sorry, Damon. I'm not Damon. Devin. I have 2 sons with almost the same name. But Christian McCaffrey is starting to run out of gas. I'm going to take Billy in this game because of the great Tevin Coleman, who I love and adore. But this can be a close game.
Yeah, it should be a pretty close game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Billy.
Dumarius has already played, so
yeah, he didn't do much.
Yeah,
we want a little more.
He never does.
He's a stupid fucking donkey. And so anyway, it should be a good week. There's at least there's 5 games that, might have an outcome that comes to, late Sunday to Monday. Only one of them's really in the books at this point. So
there's quite a few really unimportant games in this week.
There is an epic amount of who gives a shit.
Yeah.
But that's what's happening when you separate, like we said, we have a top. We're getting rid of the middle class.
Yeah.
It's either top or bottom. So, but yeah, so that's it. I mean, ideally now we do some shit talk. I have nothing to say besides I hate you, Zach, and I'm sick of your retard strength winning you fantasy football. But that's about it.
Well, shit talk is good. Shit talk has to be this week the worst part of the podcast because Damon and I, we can't shit talk. We got a bunch of mediocre players. Zach, take it away.
Well, I'm just it's good to be at the top, man. What can I say? Been making lots of points.
Yep. I mean, yep.
Yeah, I see my game as a tie, so there's no shit talking to do. It's just praying.
Well, yeah, Zach just beat your ass, and he's in the midst of beating mine with the greatest end and beginning to a game of all time. Yep. So we'll see you later.
Good night. Thanks for having me.
All right, bud.